Okay, so let's unpack this deep dive today. We're looking at something that, well, it might seem quite specific at first glance, a particular university alumni reunion.
Hmm.
But the sources we have really show how it highlighted some incredibly strong connections and actually helped spark a concrete new initiative within that community.
That's right. Our material gives us a really close look at the Government College of Technology, GCT.
Hmm.
We're focusing particularly on the 1992 batch.
Okay.
We've got this reflection piece about their recent reunion in Boston. This was April 2025. And then also some info on GCT's official online platforms and community channels.
Got it. So our mission here is to really dig into this specific event. What made this reunion stand out? What kind of bond are we seeing described in the sources?
Right.
And I think, crucially, how did that connection actually lead to tangible new ways for the wider alumni community to engage and maybe share their stories?
We want to kind of understand that ripple effect. Exactly. And the reflection piece, it paints a pretty vivid picture of that Boston reunion. It describes arriving and just immediately feeling this wave of warmth, nostalgia, this palpable sense of deep connection. It sounds like, stepping into a room full of people who genuinely know and really value each other.
Yeah, it sounds like more than just a quick catch-up. The source actually notes that what started as maybe a brief update on alumni initiatives quickly blossomed into this really lively, heartfelt exchange, went on for a full 30 minutes.
30 minutes, wow. That level of engagement, it really goes beyond just polite conversation, doesn't it?
It really does.
It speaks volumes, I think, about the strength of their relationships.
Hmm.
And what's remarkable here, the source points this out, this isn't a one-off event for this particular batch.
Oh, really?
No, they've actually made it a tradition to reunite every April since 2016.
Yep.
They only paused during the pandemic.
Every April since 2016.
Right.
Wow.
That kind of consistent commitment, over nearly a decade, that's pretty significant.
That really underscores the depth of their bond then. And this gathering, it wasn't small either, right? The source said over 30 GCTians were there.
That's right, over 30, from all across the U.S. And, get this, others traveled from as far as the U.K. and Sri Lanka.
Just for the reunion.
Just for the reunion. Making that kind of trip, it just demonstrates the affection they clearly have for each other and for the college, too.
Absolutely.
And it's that powerful sort of personal connection that the source describes as being a catalyst for broader action.
Okay, how so?
Well, during the reunion itself, there was apparently an invitation extended to the group, a pretty simple request, actually, just asking them to consider giving 1 hour of their time to engage with current students.
Just 1 hour. That sounds like a remarkably low barrier to entry for, giving back.
Does, doesn't it? But the source really emphasizes how this seemingly simple request, quote, opened the door to something far more meaningful.
Ah.
It apparently sparked some really thoughtful conversations with individuals who were there. The source mentions Naren, Rekha, and Roshan by name, who were curious about how they could contribute, maybe beyond that initial hour.
Okay, right. And this is where the idea described in the source really starts to take shape, isn't it? Like, the author of the reflection piece was having these follow-up chats,
Exactly.
walking someone like Roshan through the different GCT initiatives. And then they started thinking about those earlier conversations with Naren and Rekha, how sincere and rich they were.
That's it precisely. The thought sort of emerged. What if we could capture the essence of these everyday kind of informal alumni conversations?
Right.
The source points out that these chats, filled with humor, insight, and lived experience, they're more than just personal anecdotes. They represent this shared narrative, really, of the community's journey.
And so, encouraged by Roshan's perspective, this idea of capturing those conversations, it evolved into something more intentional.
Yes. The feeling was, these stories are just too valuable to remain private. These voices, the source feels, deserve to be heard and shared more widely.
Which led towards the concept of a podcast series.
Exactly. Which raises an interesting point, actually, about the kind of value the source sees in these specific exchanges.
Yeah.
They aren't, structured career advice sessions or formal presentations. The source highlights that their richness really comes from that humor, insight, and lived experience. These are authentic reflections, lessons learned over years, but outside a formal setting.
It feels like recognizing this immense value that's kind of hidden in plain sight, doesn't it?
It really does.
So the source indicates this initiative is still in its early stages, but the core idea is clear. There's significant wisdom and connection just embedded in these personal narratives.
Yeah. And the reflection piece credits Roshan specifically for guiding the concept, but notes how Naren and Rekha initially ignited that spark with their insightful interactions.
It really shows how powerful initiatives can grow organically, just from genuine connections.
Absolutely. And the reflection also gives nods to others who helped set the stage. Someone named Robin, for extending the invitation to the reunion in the first place.
Ah, yeah.
And even references of Vijay Chandrasekhar, whose earlier alumni post back in 2021 apparently helped the author feel connected to some attendees before they'd even met them in person.
So it really underlines how interconnected the whole alumni community is across different batches and various touch points over time.
Precisely. And the reflection piece uses this specific example, the 1992 batch's inspiring bond, as this powerful reminder to the wider GCT alumni community. A reminder of the significant impact all alumni can have when they engage.
Which brings us neatly to the call to action that's highlighted in the material,
Yes,
right?
it's an invitation for all GCT alumni, it doesn't matter where they are, to reconnect and share their wisdom.
And that giving just 1 hour idea is presented as a key way to do that, offering guidance and real-world perspectives to current students.
That seems to be the starting point, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The phrase they use that resonates from this reunion experience is, stay connected, stay inspired, give back.
Catchy.
And the sources encourage all GCTians to follow, engage with, and help amplify this community spirit.
Okay, so how can people actually do that? Did the sources mention specific platforms?
They did. They provide clear pathways. You've got the official GCT website, naturally, and a dedicated GCT alumni portal. Those are the starting points to reconnect.
Right, the official channels.
And they're clearly active across many other channels, too. There's a LinkedIn page and a group,
Okay.
a Facebook page and group, Twitter, X, Instagram. Even a Telegram group is mentioned.
Wow, so plenty of ways to plug in and stay connected to the pulse of the community, depending on your preference.
Exactly. And for digging deeper into content and stories, the source points toward the YouTube channel.
Makes sense.
And quite relevant to the new initiative we were just discussing, the GCT podcast.
Ah, okay, so that's already a place to look.
Seems so. Plus, there's a platform known as the GSARC Substack, which is highlighted as a place for more sort of reflective stories and initiatives.
GSARC Substack.
Right.
Got it. It feels like it all connects back to that powerful idea you mentioned earlier, turning connection into action, transforming reunion into resonance.
That's the phrase used, yes. And giving back in this context isn't presented as solely about, financial contributions.
Right.
The source really emphasizes that sharing your time, your wisdom, your stories, those are arguably the greatest assets alumni have to offer.
It's a really compelling message, isn't it? About the potential energy just sitting there in an engaged network waiting to be channeled.
Definitely.
So let's maybe recap our journey through this deep dive then. We started by looking at this really powerful, consistent connection shown by a specific alumni batch, the 92 batch, at their Boston reunion.
Right. That consistent meeting every April.
Exactly. And we saw how those genuine interactions, sparked by just a simple invitation to contribute an hour of time, directly led to the concept for a pretty significant new initiative.
Creating a platform, this podcast idea, to capture and share authentic alumni stories.
And the core takeaway, I think, from the sources is that the inspiring bond shown by groups like the 1992 batch serves as this potent reminder, a reminder of the profound impact the wider alumni community can achieve when they truly connect and engage.
Yeah. And that leads directly to that clear call to action we found in the source material. It's an invitation, really, for all alumni to reconnect, to share their wisdom, even if it starts with just 1 hour, and to give back.
It's about taking that moment of reunion and turning it into sustained resonance, right? Making the connection ripple outwards.
Exactly. So we'd encourage you, the listener, to reflect on this idea.
The sources point you towards those official GCT platforms we mentioned, the website, alumni portal, the social media channels, YouTube, the GCT podcast, and that GSARC Substack
Right.
as places where you can explore these kinds of stories, maybe get involved, become part of this evolving community yourself.
And maybe here's a final thought for you, drawing from the themes in the material we looked at today.
Okay.
If these casual, everyday alumni conversations, the ones filled with humor, insight, and lived experience, hold enough value to warrant being captured and shared through a whole new podcast initiative? Well, what rich narratives might exist untapped within your own communities or professional networks, just waiting for a platform, maybe, to bring them to life?